Hey guys, it's Aoife from Fred Weasley Died Laughing, and I'm here to do a book tag today. I was tagged in the How I Read book tag by Eleanor over at Elena Reads Books. I'm not sure who the original creator of this tag is, but I will find out and I will link it below in the doodly-doo, or the diddly-doo. I can never remember what that's called, but it'll be there anyway. So let's just get into it. Question number 1. How do you find new books to read? It generally always used to be the library, just browsing the library and finding new authors and then, following their books and then, kind of finding new authors beside them, and then, just different shelves in the library I would always browse and I would generally find new books to read. And then when I got onto Goodreads, it was kind of, you like this book, you might like this other book, suggestions as well. And now it's BookTube. Since I started watching BookTube videos, my TBR has just expanded rapidly and it's gone out of control. So I found so many amazing books I probably wouldn't have found for quite a while longer if I hadn't been on Goodreads. Or Goodreads and BookTube, both of them. So yeah. Question number 2. How did you become a reader? There was never really a moment for me that, there was a certain book I read, because I know a lot of people, books like Twilight and The Hunger Games got them into reading. But for me, I was always a reader before then. I was basically a reader since I learned how to read. Even before that, I always used to look at the picture books, and it kind of just graduated into smaller children's books with words, and then it went on and on and on. So I've kind of spoken briefly about it before, but I guess I'll say it again now because I don't think everyone watched that video. But one of my strongest memories of me as a reader is the moment I joined the library, which is that my gran realised how amazed I was at books and how much I loved reading, and she decided that she was going to bring and help me join the library. So she brought me and my brother, and I was about 8 or 9 at the time, and I just remember stopping and thinking, I can get all these books and I can get them for free, and then I can come back and I can get more books. It was mind-blowing for me, and it completely changed the rest of my life. I became an avid library goer. Even now, when I have the money, I'm buying books for myself all the time. I still end up going to the library every couple of weeks and getting another 7 or 8, sometimes 12 books to bring home, because I just can't help myself. I just love the library. So the library does have a big part in continuing my love for reading, but I honestly think being a reader is just how I'm made. I think no matter where I was born and who I was born to, I would have become a reader. It's just something that makes me me. Number 3, how has your taste in books changed as you've grown older? So when I was quite young, I was really into animal books, because I obviously am a huge animal lover. So I was always reading books that had to do with, Pony Club, or, different books about stables and horses and horse riding. And then I loved the Animal Arc books by Lucy Daniels, which were a huge collection of books about this girl whose parents were vets, and she used to get into all these animal adventures. So I loved them, and then they gradually, I went into Heartland, which was a more kind of 12, 13-year-old horsey books, and then it kind of went into that, and then, YA, teenage, and then YA, and then, at adult, eventually. So yeah, and then now I think I'm a lot more open to reading more kind of murder novels, mystery novels, thrillers such as Gone Girl or The Cuckoo's Calling. 4 or 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have read them. I wouldn't have really been into it. It's just really the last couple of years I've really started expanding my range. I started reading kind of more horror-esque zombie novels, which I never did before. I started getting into them a lot more. So yeah, it's definitely I'm definitely more open to reading different books, and maybe even non-fiction books as well. There's some certain genres of non-fiction books that I like, things to do with feminism, kind of some autobiographies of certain female celebrities that I'm really into, such as Caitlin Moran and Mindy Kaling, and I've Lena Dunham's up there, which my friend lent me. I haven't actually gotten around to it yet. But I'm definitely more open to reading those kind of books, and I'm a lot more interested in them as well. That's something I feel really passionate about, is feminism and the sexualization of women in the media, which is what I did my thesis on in college. So I have a lot of books that are to do with that, and to do with, you know, women in the media and how women are viewed in the porn industry and different things like that. So I'm really, really into those kind of things, and I wouldn't have read them. I wouldn't have read anything to do with that when I was younger. So definitely that's how my tastes have expanded. Number 4, how often do you buy books? It really depends on if I'm going somewhere, if I'm trying to save money up for something in particular. I'm going on holidays in a few weeks, so I'm trying to save my money at the moment. But even just today, I bought 2 books on Amazon on Kindle because they were like quite cheap. I bought The Lie, I can't remember what the author's name is, but I think it's, no, I can't remember. The Lie anyway. And as well, I bought The Shock of the Fall as well, because they were only like 99p and £1.80 or something on Amazon. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get them. So I ended up buying them. So I would generally say maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, to have to like really put something down on it. But it depends. Some weeks I could buy loads of books, and then there's weeks that go by that I buy no books. So it really just depends on my mood. Question number 5, how did you get into booktubing? I was friends with Charlie from Charlie Reads for ages on Goodreads, and I knew she did book reviews, and I just never watched them. And then one day I did watch them, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool. And then I looked at the sidebar and I realised there were loads of different other booktubers. So I started reading, started watching Kaz over a Little Book Owl, and then from then on I ended up finding loads of different booktubers. And then the more I watched it, the more I was like, I want to do this. I want to sit down and talk about my books to people who also want to actually listen to what I'm saying. Because at that stage I was talking about books and my friends' eyes were like glazing over because, you know, oh, Aoife's talking about books again. So, you know, it was more like that. So I really wanted to do it. I knew I could do it if I just sat down and let myself. So that's how it happened. Number 6, how do you react when you don't like the end of a book? It really kind of depends. If like I really just didn't like the book, I'm kind of like, oh, like whatever, like what a waste of time, or I'm really angry about that, and I might just kind of huff and like for a while and maybe stomp around, or else I'll just kind of throw it over my, like throw it, and I wouldn't actually throw it, but I kind of toss it. If I'm on the bed, I'll like toss it behind me, and I'll just pick up my next book and hope for the better, that that's going to be a better book. For different things that happen in books, I can react differently. Like if a book has a really kind of one of those heart-wrenching endings, I might literally just like lie face down into my pillow for a while and try and, you know, deal with all the emotions. And then there was a book a few months ago. It was Unmade by Sarah Rees Brennan, and there's a point in it that I just absolutely broke my heart into a million pieces, and I had to throw the book across the room because I was so angry. I was so angry. I was so angry, and I was so heartbroken, and I was devastated, and I just couldn't even, guys. I just couldn't even. So my brother and my dad were in the room with me, so they were a little bit startled when the book went flying across the room and hit the floor, and I just had to sit there for a while in silence to deal with everything. So yeah, that's what happens with me. How often do you sneak peek the end of the book? This used to be a huge problem with me, where sometimes I might be getting a little bit bored with where it's going, or it might be at this really intense part in the book and I might skip forward a few pages, especially if it's something where I think someone's going to die, and I try and sneak forward to see if I can see their name somewhere, so I'm like, oh, it's okay, they're safe, they're still there. I was really tempted when I was reading The Heir by Kira Cass recently. I was so tempted for the whole of that book to skip, to try and figure out what happens, and I'm so glad I didn't, because the ending absolutely gobsmacked me. I just wasn't expecting it to end like that. So I'm really glad. I really got the shock value with that book, so I'm glad I didn't sneak peek it. And question number 8 is, who are you going to tag? So I am going to tag Kirsty over Kirsty Ward, and I'm going to tag Meg at bookswithwings. So let me know how you read, guys, because I want to know. So I hope you liked the video, and feel free to comment and discuss my answers with me, because I'd love to talk to you about them, and I hope to see you guys again next time. So bye!